Welcome everyone to another episode of Frog's Newbie Guides for War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Today we're going to be covering what units should we build to help make things as easy and free as possible for those of us just starting out. First thing I'm doing here is finishing up a background repeat of the pink faint memory, or red faint memory chamber, should I say, because I am going to need a lot of red spheres for this. Now, one thing to note that I covered in my last video is that some units have bingo boards. You'll see that a lot of units here have bingo boards for when they're released, give you about, if I remember correctly, 75 free shards. But what we're most concerned about here are these two. Now, these two are going to contain rewards pertaining to Mont Leonis, the MR version of him, as well as Mediana. Now, a previous version of this bingo board also provides you some materials for Shadow Links. However, due to Shadow Links not having the provided materials for an easy EX Awakening or a Transcendence upgrade, we're going to be ignoring her for the time being. Now, that being said, once you complete the entire bingo board, you even receive the reward here, the Visagenic Antler, for both Mediana and Mont Leonis. So, for Mediana's, all we have to do is go in here and quickly unlock her EX job. Click through this. If only there was a way to speed these animations up. And then just drag this across. Now you'll notice that the cost of this is quite high across the board, but nothing too terrible. Most of these materials, with the exception of the pink job materials and the stones, will be provided for you through the bingo boards. Next step we're going to take is we're going to go into her job board and we're going to tap for her EX abilities. Now, these EX abilities are going to be important because they are not only going to boost her performance and her stats, but also provide her with additional enhancements. For example, Flare here. Flare has an additional use now and lowers the AP consumption, which is great because it was previously, or in the beginning of the game, should I say, the only extra large damage modifier magic spell. Now bear with me as I go ahead and finish enhancing these abilities. Alright, so now that those job abilities are all leveled up and finished, as you can see here, these are all done. We're going to go back here and we're going to go ahead and enhance Mediana. Now, due to the limited number of EXP cubes that I currently have, I'm going to be looking at this and trying to minimize and maximize. So I do need to bring her to level 120 for this purpose, but that is not a problem. I'll just slide through. Now, your mileage may vary. You may have to put her in barracks or manually grind the experience points with her in order to get her to that point. Now, I already have her Transcendence materials, but if at this point you did not, you would go here into Challenges and you would tap across all these bingo boards. The easiest and fastest way to do so would be going around the outside and then grabbing the one in the center at the very end, so you don't have to watch the animations individually for every bingo you complete. That being said, we'll go here and unlock the Transcendence, and we're going to read what it provides her. So 10% agility up, magic up 30%, Blizzara, her arcanist spell is enhanced, and then it provides you with the effect of the enhanced spell. We can go ahead and hit unlock here. We're going to hit max. Now for this, you're going to want to specifically use her Mind Spheres unless you have thousands upon thousands of the Transcendent Mind Spheres and nothing better to use them on, because Transcendent Mind Spheres are going to be very useful for the future. Now once that's all taken care of, we jump in here to Transcendence. We're going to hit on Enhance, and normally what you would do is you would click on this little thing right here, all stars acquired stop enhancement. However, for the purpose of this, I'm going to assume that you don't have a wide variety of materials on your disposal to repeatedly reincarnate her. So for this purpose, I'm just going to bring her to the EX level 20 for this Transcendence to get the maximum benefit. Now what you would normally do at this point is you would look at these stats. You'd see you got 1, 2, and 3 stars. You would reincarnate, and then you would rinse and repeat as you gradually reincarnate various other times. Let me go ahead and show you what a unit looks like when they've been reincarnated plenty of times. So here we have Murmur reincarnated 32 times. You'll see all these stars do add up, and they do gradually increase in stats. Not something that I said you have to worry about for right now, but something to consider for the future. Now that being said, we can go back over here. We're going to go over to Mont. Now Mont I have already EX'd, and I've already brought him to 120, but I'm going to go ahead and unlock his Transcendence as well so I can demonstrate. He gets increased 30 missile resist, all elemental attack resist up 10, and then Killer Drain Blade is enhanced even further. Raises his own defense piercing rate for 3 turns, then deals damage large to target and bestows Man-Eater and absorbs damage dealt and reduces AP and recovers own AP. Now that's all a mouthful, but as you learn to play the game, you'll understand what that means more so and more so. Now we're going to dive in here. We're going to go ahead and unlock him, go to Transcendence, and we're going to go ahead and hit Enhance and drag it all the way to the max. We're going to do that. Now his 3 stars are going to be added to the board, his stats are going to increase, then we're going to close out of that because we are not going to be reincarnating him a ton. Even though we do have the materials to do so, that's not the purpose of this video right now. Now if I go back here to my bingo board, you'll notice that yes, while I do have the Mont level ups done, I do still have to complete some story quests. So if you'll pardon me, I'm going to be right back after I complete these story quests. Alright, now that we're back and I've completed those quests, we're going to go ahead and claim both of these bounty rewards, or bingo rewards should I say, from both Mont and Mediena's bingo boards. So we're going to complete this. So like I said, the least time consuming way to do this is to just go through all the outsides, because you have to stop every time you complete one bingo, and then complete the last 1, 2, 3, 4 bingos all at the same time. So we're going to do that again with Mediana so we can recoup our lost materials. I'm going to go here, blah blah blah. Alright. And then alright, cool. So both those bingo bars are fully complete. We have recouped our materials. And then one more thing to keep in mind, I did kind of touch upon this previously, but Lucio is a free unit. He's free to build, he's free to use in its entirety, you even get his weapon and all that stuff. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be showing you a decent way to build a team regarding these 3 completely free to build units. So now that I've gone ahead and freed up a spot in my formation team, we're going to go ahead and create a formation using only the free units. So we've got Lucio here. We're going to throw in our Mont. We're going to go ahead and put Mediana in here as well. And then for our next 2 units, we're going to be looking at units that fall in the in that MR category for those MR completion quests. So based on what we have currently, we have a Mage, we have 2 slash users, one of which is going to be running Paladin sub for more slash, the other one is probably going to be running Monk, which is going to give us some strike. So what we're likely going to be looking for is a Gunner to provide some damage diversity. And then, let's see, what else? Likely a Pierce user. Now this is going to be key because MacLeod's Trick Lancer main class is going to be so helpful for all the nonsensical abilities that it provides. Now if I didn't want to use MacLeod, I could also settle for Lisette, because Lisette could provide us with additional utility. Now I do have other MR units that could be utilized, and over the period of time you will likely obtain many of these as well. I could have also swapped out for what's her face, Dea, or even Silma. Silma being a more support based option. However, now that I'm looking at this, I think perhaps it might be a better opportunity to run Revelka, because Revelka is going to give us the opportunity for Magic Missile as well as the White Mage subclass for heals where needed. So for this, we're going to start from the left, and we'll go all the way to the right.
You're medium, right?
Now the first thing we're going to start with is Lucio's sword. We're going to provide that to him. We're going to go ahead and give him, we'll give him a platinum helm, and then we're going to provide him with his, we will give him Oldo an apron. Now all the TMRs that I will be using in this team formation are all non-collab limited and non-limited units in general. Now for an Esper for him, we're going to go ahead and check his resonance. Resonance being one of the most important things to look at for stats. So I've got 33 currently resonated on him, and I'm going to go with Fenrir because of the magic resist and attack and slash attack that it provides. Next, we're going to do the same thing with Mont. Now we're going to look at Mont and his resonance. And for him, we're going to go with Golem, just because Golem is one of the original tank Espers that we were provided, and it provides him with a whole slew of options for defense. Now for Mont, we're going to go through and we're going to go and pick, for the purpose of this video and for the purpose of this guide, we're going to go ahead and pick a weapon that is still farmable and still can be used. And in this case, it is likely going to be Dawn Light. Now you'll notice here in the main job conditions, Mont having a Lord main job does not give him the passive bonus. However, that is not the purpose here. For the purpose of his armor, we're going to go with Brigandine because it provides him with the most HP, as well as area attack resistance and a ton of defense. Now Brigandine is a limited armor piece, however it is limited to raids, so don't be alarmed because it will make returns very frequently. Now on Mont, we are going to go ahead and provide him with, where is it? We're going to provide him with, oh, where'd it go? Hold on. We're going to give him Emberlight Vitality to give him additional AP regeneration. Then we're going to move on to Mediana. Now Mediana is going to start off with a Platinum Rod. Now while you could use other things like Guard Stick or even Doom Twilight or even Staff of the Stormlord, I'm personally preferring Platinum Rod due to the bonus agility that it provides and the overall ease of use that it has, since you provided one through Mediana's Bingo. Now, for this, we can go with Galmia Coat for additional magic and Man-Eater upon magic attack up, or Platinum Robe for missile attack resistance up. But for this, I believe I'm going to go with, where is it? Right here, Soul of Thamasa. Now, this is going to provide us with a couple additional benefits and passives that we're going to utilize here. And that's going to free up our TMR spot for Mediana's own TMR. Now, this is great because it boosts acquired AP, attack, and magic of allies within area around self in a large area. Now for Mediana's Esper, we're going to go ahead and utilize Shiva because she is both ice and a magic based Esper with a high enough agility to keep her on her toes. Now for Krace, we're going to move on to her. Now normally you could use Raz Al Ghathi. You're going to get 15 missile attack up and a pretty high base attack stat. However, for this I'm going to be using the Gaia type 100 plus 5. Reason being, as you see here, the defense piercing rate 20 up, as well as the activation condition for critical hit rate up and critical damage up 15. This is going to be huge because in her master ability here, you're going to see that raises own CT small upon a critical hit, meaning that the more times she can crit, the more times she'll be able to raise her CT, and the more times she'll be able to take her turn. Now for this, we're going to go Diamond Coat for her armor piece, and then we're going to move over and utilize Bells on her. Now the reason we utilize Bells on Krace is because she is the most AP hungry out of all of these units here, with the exception likely being Mediana. However, Mediana being a mage allows her to start with nearly all of her AP. Next for Revelka, we're going to go with Elven Gloves for the spirit piercing rate up. Now you could also farm Dark Gloves for the standard magic attack up bonus, but since I already have Elven Gloves and since it is technically farmable through Farplane Archives, I'll be using that. Next, we're going to equip her with the Galmia Coat plus 6 for the extra magic boost. And then we're going to go into a TMR, and we're going to provide her with Steel Maiden's Necklace. Wait a minute. No, sorry. We're going to equip her with Sacred Step. Now, this is Ayaka's TMR, and the reason we're going to be utilizing this is because it's going to bestow a barrier, as well as reduce damage and removing the following status effects. Now, you may have noticed that some of my TMRs had trust stones on them. The trust stones for these purposes are not optimized at all, as is the case in all of my beginner guide videos. You'll see none of these have any relevance. Actually, the fire attack up does to Revelka, but I have these in place for the set bonuses down below here. Those are going to come in super handy moving forward. Now that being said, for Revelka, what do we have here for resonance on her? We have Shiva. And what do we have for Mediana, actually? Ramu, Diabolos. Okay, so for Mediana, what I'm going to actually do is... Actually, no, for Velka, I'm going to do this. I'm going to provide her with I'm debating either Carbuncle or Bahamut. Now Bahamut would likely be the most comprehensive option for this particular purpose. However, due to it being a double cost Esper and a half rate Vision card, I'm going to refrain from doing that. So for this purpose, I am going to provide and use Ramu on Mediana, and then I will move back with Shiva on Revelka. Then for Krace, we already have here, we have regular Chocobo. Now, not to be confused with Red Chocobo, however, Red Chocobo is a Final Fantasy Tactics limited Esper. Now, moving forward, we're going to go with Vision Cards. Please hold while I go ahead and select these, and I'll explain the choices when I come back. Okay, now that the Vision Cards have been added, we'll go over the choices. Now on Lucio, I'm going to be running Ifrit for the party-wide 50% plus attack up, and then Leviathan as a sub card, not so much for the benefits that it provides him, although this max HP up and slash attack up are pretty big, but for the Crash Edge Vision card ability that he's going to be able to use. Now, moving on to Mont, we're going to be starting off in his main card with Mask of Deceit. Missile attack resistance up is phenomenal to have. However, the main thing is going to be that it gives him hate as a bestowed passive when he uses the card. And on his sub card, we're going to be using Fenrir in order to provide magic attack resistance up, as well as additional HP on the bestowed effect. In Mediana, we're going to be using Black Rose of the Battlefield. This is going to be crucial because the large amount of magic that this card provides, as well as the 15% agility up to the entire team, is going to provide a ton of benefit, especially since MR units, the main thing holding them back, is going to be their lower agility. It's also going to provide her with the additional accuracy and the Vision card ability Shadow Flare. Moving on, we then have in her subclass Trousseau. Now this is going to include a magic attack up for the entire party and dark attack resistance up on the bestowed effect. Not that the latter is going to be super important, but it is a very high magic card. On Krace, we're going to be utilizing Golem, and that's going to be due to the plus 25% HP up to the entire party. And then in her subclass card, we're going to be providing her with Frederica's Dream. The missile attack up is going to benefit her significantly, while the limited party ability and bestowed effects can be ignored. On Revelka, we're going to be utilizing Ramu. Now Ramu is going to utilize 50% magic up, and then lightning attack resist up 10 as a bestowed effect. Not that Revelka is currently weak to that. And then on her subclass card, another card that provides a lot of magic is going to be Horn's First Division, Solidus. This is going to provide the party a slash attack resistance up, and then it's also going to provide Revelka herself with magic attack up 5. Now the entire concept here was to provide vision cards that would affect and improve upon the entire team. Now one thing I did come into contact with during the process of building this team is the fact that Macleod may be a better suited fit for his Pierce and dual gunner sub job, giving him missile as well. However, for the purpose of this, since I'd already put Krace in here, and since both gunner and sniper are excellent classes to utilize, I felt that those were more so of benefit. Now we're going to go in here, make sure that the right passives are equipped for each of these. So Shadow Runner here, that gives her additional agility. Just double check. Now the reason why I'm checking these passives to make sure that they still do what I think they do is because a lot of jobs have gone through reworks, and these reworks are providing them with additional effects on passives and other things. Now, that being said, here we have a team of completely free to obtain and utilize units. What does this mean for us? Well, everything you see here is completely free and obtainable, many of which, with the exception of the middle gear pierces on each of these units, so the Platinum Helm, Brigandine, Soul of Thamasa, Diamond Coat, and Galmia Coat, can be farmed to the fullest potential as necessary when all of these Espers and Vision cards are currently in the gacha pool, and none of them are limited to any collaborations or otherwise. That being said, this will be the end of this video. So feel free to drop a comment down below if you have any further questions, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to tune in for the next episode. And remember, stay frosty.